she was ordered to flee a child's birthday after a shocking police warning, so she revealed the hidden past and took control. In a quiet residential neighborhood outside Boston, Caitlin Johnson lived with her husband, Michael, and their 6-year-old daughter, Emily. Caitlin worked as a nurse at the local children's hospital, where her gentle smile and attentive care earned the trust of patients' families. Despite her busy days that stretched from early morning to late at night, she treasured family time above all else. Her husband, Michael, was a police officer who took pride in his work protecting the community's safety. His tall, muscular build was a product of his profession. But at home, he showed the gentle face of a father reading bedtime stories to his daughter. Even when exhausted after night shifts, he would always help Emily with her homework when she came home from school, and their weekend tradition of playing catch in the park never wavered. For Caitlin, Michael was both a reliable partner and a trusted friend she could confide in about anything. Their beloved daughter Emily was a curious and active girl. She had inherited her mother's kind nature and her father's sense of justice, and was known at school as someone who cared deeply about her friends. Recently, she had become passionate about piano lessons, practicing every day without fail and delighting in performing newly learned pieces for her family. Watching her daughter grow, Caitlin felt she was learning something new about motherhood every day. Caitlin's sister Jennifer was known for her exceptional cooking skills. Her homemade cakes and cookies were especially popular, and she always brought handmade desserts to family gatherings. The sisters had a wonderful relationship, calling each other several times a week to share updates and turning to one another whenever they needed advice. Jennifer's husband, David, was a gentle, honest man, and it was obvious to everyone how much he cherished Jennifer. They had 2 children, 8-year-old Tommy and Sophia, who was celebrating her 6th birthday today. David loved the children deeply, and on weekends, the family would go hiking together or enjoy barbecues in their backyard. The 2 families spent nearly every weekend together, sometimes at Caitlin's house, sometimes at Jennifer's. The adults would catch up while the children played together as loving cousins. Emily and Sophia were especially close due to their similar ages, bonding like sisters. They would play with dolls together, chase each other around the yard, and even though they occasionally had small arguments, they would quickly make up and laugh together again. For Caitlin, these family moments were irreplaceable treasures. The exhaustion from her demanding hospital work would vanish the moment she saw her family's smiling faces. For Michael, too, this warm family circle was the only place where he could escape the tension of his dangerous job. Saturday morning, the sweet aroma of fresh pancakes filled the Johnson family kitchen. Caitlin smiled at Emily and Michael, who were sitting at the counter as she expertly flipped pancakes in the pan. Emily sat in her pajamas, swinging her legs while enthusiastically telling her father about the dream she'd had the night before. And then, "Daddy, I became a princess and lived in a big castle. Then a dragon came, but I wasn't scared at all." Michael listened while gently stroking his daughter's hair. "So, what did Princess Emily do with the dragon?" "I became friends with him. The dragon was just lonely, that's all," Emily answered proudly. Listening to their conversation, Caitlin felt once again how blessed their family was. During weekdays, work kept them so busy that they rarely had time to enjoy a leisurely breakfast. Michael often worked night shifts, so the 3 of them eating together usually only happened on weekends. That made these simple moments feel especially precious. "Today is Sophia's birthday. What time were we supposed to go to Jennifer's house?" Caitlin asked while pouring maple syrup over the pancakes. Michael looked up from his coffee cup and answered, "Jennifer said around 2 o'clock this afternoon. So, if we leave around 1:30, that should be perfect timing. We need to buy presents before then." Caitlin checked the clock. "Emily, have you decided what you want to give Sophia?" Emily thought seriously. "Well, Sophia likes dolls, so maybe a new doll would be good. But when we went to the bookstore together last time, she saw a beautiful picture book and said, 'I want that.' Which would be better? Why don't we buy both?" Michael suggested, and Emily's face lit up. "Really? Yay!" Emily jumped up from her chair in excitement. After breakfast, the family headed to the shopping mall downtown. Being a weekend morning, the parking lot was already filled with cars. In the toy section, Emily seriously considered which doll to choose. She was torn between a blonde doll in a pink dress and a dark-haired doll in a blue dress, but finally decided, I want one with brown hair like Sophia's, and chose the brown-haired doll. At the bookstore, they found the picture book Emily had pointed out in the children's section. It was titled The Magical Forest Animals, featuring vibrant illustrations. When Caitlin flipped through the pages, she discovered it was a heartwarming story about forest animals working together to overcome difficulties. I'm sure Sophia will love this. Caitlin smiled. While they waited for the presents to be wrapped, Michael brought coffee from a nearby cafe. Sitting on a bench together, Emily happily imagined Sophia's delighted expression. I wonder what kind of cake will be at Sophia's birthday party, Emily asked with anticipation. Aunt Jennifer's homemade cake. Of course. I'm sure she's made something wonderful, Caitlin replied. Indeed, Jennifer's homemade cakes were legendary in the family, especially for children's birthdays. She always created elaborate decorated cakes. For Sophia's birthday last year, she had made pink buttercream roses that looked like they came from a professional bakery. When they returned home, Caitlin selected wine to bring as a gift, while Michael checked the car. Emily practiced singing Happy Birthday to Sophia in her room while getting dressed. Her small voice drifted down the hallway, making Caitlin smile involuntarily. Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the prepared family got into their car. Jennifer's house was about a 20-minute drive away. Emily sat in the back seat, carefully holding the present bag while watching the scenery flow past the car window. Daddy, that's the park where we all had a picnic together, isn't it? Emily pointed. That's right. It was such beautiful weather that day, and you and Tommy played frisbee, Michael answered while driving. Caitlin turned from the passenger seat to look at Emily. This summer vacation, let's go camping with the whole family again. Really? Yay! Last year it was so fun swimming in the lake and roasting marshmallows over the campfire at night. Emily's eyes sparkled. The car climbed the gentle slopes of the residential neighborhood. Houses with well-maintained gardens lined both sides, each wrapped in the peaceful atmosphere of a weekend afternoon. They could see people watering their lawns, washing cars, and children playing on bicycles. We're almost at Jennifer's house. Caitlin recognized the familiar street corner. Turning the corner, they could see several cars already parked in front of Jennifer's house. It looked like David's parents had been invited too. Emily leaned out the window and cheered when she spotted the colorful balloons decorating the yard. Oh, there's Sophia! Emily waved at her cousin who was playing with other children near the front entrance. Michael carefully parked the car in the parking space. When he turned off the engine, they could hear the children's joyful laughter coming from the yard. Caitlin picked up the present bag and wine, and the family got out of the car. The family of 3 walked hand in hand toward the front door. At the entrance, Sophia was playing with friends and her cousin Tommy wearing a new pink dress. Having just turned 6, she looked radiant as the birthday star. As soon as Emily got out of the car, she ran towards Sophia carrying the present bag. Sophia, happy birthday! Emily shouted excitedly. Emily, you came! Sophia responded with equal excitement, and the two hugged each other. Jennifer came out from the front door to greet her sister's family. She was wearing an apron, showing she had been busy preparing food. However, her face wore a satisfied smile. Caitlin, Michael, thank you for coming. Perfect timing. I'm just putting the finishing touches on everything. Caitlin handed over the wine bottle while asking, Is there anything I can help with? It's fine. Almost everything is ready. David is preparing the barbecue in the backyard. Michael, would you mind helping him? Michael gladly agreed and headed to the backyard. David was already lighting the grill and the 2 men waved and greeted each other. The children ran around the yard while the adults each fulfilled their roles. The inside of the house was decorated with colorful ornaments. The living room displayed a banner reading, Happy 6th Birthday, Sophia, and the table was beautifully set with dishes. Caitlin admired her sister's attention to detail. Jennifer, the decorations are really lovely. Sophia must be so happy. Thank you. It took me until late last night, but seeing my daughter's happy face makes all the fatigue disappear. Jennifer answered proudly. The afternoon passed peacefully. David's parents arrived, and the yard became lively with children's laughter and adults' conversations. When the hamburgers and hot dogs were ready, everyone gathered around the table. Sophia looked absolutely delighted, surrounded by family and friends. After the meal, it was finally time for presents. Sophia carefully opened each gift and expressed gratitude for everyone. Her expression when she saw the doll Emily had chosen was especially wonderful. "She has the same hair color as me." "How did you know?" she said happily. She was equally delighted with the picture book, promising, "I'll have Mommy read this to me tonight." Then Jennifer's homemade cake made its appearance. This year's design featured a rainbow motif with 7 beautiful colored layers stacked together. 6 candles were placed on top and everyone sang, "Happy Birthday." Sophia closed her eyes to make a wish before blowing out all the candles in one breath. "What did you wish for?" Tommy asked curiously. "It's a secret. If I tell you, it won't come true," Sophia answered with a smile. While eating cake, the adults talked about the children's growth. Caitlin shared stories from the hospital. Michael spoke about community safety. David discussed his recent work, and Jennifer reported on the children's school activities. It was a peaceful, happy family time. Around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Caitlin's cell phone rang. Looking at the caller ID, she saw it was from her husband, Michael. But Michael was right there in the backyard. Puzzled, she answered the phone anyway. "Hello, Michael. You're in the backyard right now." However, what came through the phone was Michael's voice, more urgent than she had ever heard before. The tone was so abnormal that Caitlin instantly understood something serious had happened. "I'm at my sister's house. The whole family is here." "What's wrong?" "Listen. Take our daughter and get out of that house immediately." Michael's voice carried both the sternness of a police officer on duty and the desperation of a father. Caitlin's heart began pounding violently. Why? What happened? "Just do it now, don't ask questions, take Emily and get out of the house immediately." Caitlin realized that Michael's voice over the phone was more urgent than she had ever heard. He was usually someone who maintained his composure no matter what emergency arose. But now he was clearly agitated. "Michael, where are you right now?" "You were just in the backyard. I'm at the station now, it's an emergency. I'll explain the details later. Just take Emily and get out now. Don't go near David." Those last words made Caitlin's blood run cold. She couldn't understand what "don't go near David" meant, but the urgency in her husband's voice made it clear this wasn't a joke or mistake. "Okay, I'm leaving right now." After hanging up, Caitlin looked around. Emily was playing with Sophia in the yard, and the adults were continuing their pleasant conversations. No one had noticed her distress. She didn't know how to naturally leave this situation. With her heart pounding violently, Caitlin tried to force a smile. "Emily, come here for a moment." "What?" "Mommy, I still want to play," Emily said with disappointment. Jennifer approached with concern. "What happened? Is it some kind of emergency?" Caitlin looked at her sister, not knowing how to answer. Michael's warning echoed in her mind. "Don't go near David." But David was now just a few meters away, chatting pleasantly with other adults. She couldn't sense any danger. Something urgent came up with work. "I'm really sorry, Jennifer. It was such a lovely party." "Don't apologize. It's okay. Let's get together again soon." Emily was clearly disappointed, but sensing that something serious was happening with her mother, she obediently followed. Caitlin quickly grabbed the present bag and her handbag, taking her daughter's hand. "Sophia, happy birthday. It was a wonderful day," Caitlin said in a trembling voice. On their way to the front door, David called out, "Are you leaving already? It's still early." Caitlin couldn't look at him. The voice of her brother-in-law, which would normally pose no problem, somehow sounded frightening. She answered briefly. Something urgent came up and hurried toward the front door. Walking to the car, Emily asked, "Mommy, why are you in such a hurry? What happened to Daddy?" "It's okay, Emily. Daddy is safe. We just need to see him right away." Caitlin tried to start the engine and turned the key. However, the engine wouldn't start. She tried again, but it wouldn't respond at all. On the verge of panic, she turned the key once more, but the result was the same. "Mommy, why won't the car start?" Emily asked worriedly from the back seat. "It's okay, Emily. The car is just having a little trouble." Caitlin tried to reassure her daughter, but she could hear her own voice shaking. Getting out of the car to check, she saw an unbelievable sight. All 4 tires were flat. There were clear marks showing they had been deliberately punctured with a sharp object. The color drained from Caitlin's face. This wasn't an accident. Someone had intentionally disabled her car. Michael's warning echoed in her head. "Don't go near David." Could it really be David? But he had been with everyone throughout the party. When would he have had time to damage the tires? With trembling hands, she took out her cell phone and called Michael. He answered after one ring. "Kate, are you okay?" "Michael, all the car tires are flat. Someone did it on purpose. What should I do?" "Damn it." Michael's anger and anxiety came through the phone. "Get away from there right now. Walk if you have to. Just get away from the house. But Emily, carry Emily and run. I'm coming to get you right now. I'm heading there in a patrol car. I'll be there in 5 minutes." Caitlin returned to the car and explained to Emily, "Emily, Daddy is coming to pick us up, so let's walk a little. Why do we have to walk? Why won't the car work?" Emily was confused. "The car broke down. But it's okay. Daddy will be here soon." Caitlin took Emily's hand and began walking away from the house. However, after just a few steps, she heard sirens in the distance. Michael was keeping his promise, racing toward them in a patrol car. When the patrol car appeared around the corner at high speed, Caitlin's knees nearly buckled with relief. Michael jumped out of the car and ran to his wife and daughter. "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" Michael checked while embracing them both. "We're fine. But Michael, what on earth is happening? Why is David dangerous?" Michael looked around before answering in a low voice. "Let's talk in the car. It's not safe here." The three got into the patrol car. Emily sat on her father's lap in the back seat, still unable to understand the situation. "Today, when I was checking the sex offender database at the station, I found David's name." Michael began explaining in a heavy tone. 10 years ago, he was imprisoned for sexual assault on a child. He spent 3 years in prison and is currently under probation. Caitlin was speechless. "David, but he's married to Jennifer and has children." I didn't want to believe it either. "But the records are unmistakable. That's why I urgently contacted you. I couldn't risk putting Emily in danger." Various memories flashed through Caitlin's mind. David playing with the children, looking lovingly at Sophia and Tommy. Had it all been fake? But what about the flat tires? Probably to prevent us from leaving. However, Michael hesitated for a moment. There might be another possibility. Just then, Michael's radio crackled. It was a message from a colleague. "Michael, we have new information about that matter. A neighbor reported seeing teenage boys causing mischief in that area around 3 o'clock this afternoon." Michael responded to the radio. "Give me the details." Apparently, a local group of troublemakers has been going around puncturing tires on multiple cars. Your wife's car wasn't the only one. Other cars in the neighborhood were also damaged. Caitlin and Michael looked at each other. The tire punctures had nothing to do with David. It was simply teenage vandalism. "Still, David's past is a fact," Michael said with a stern expression. "I need to talk to him." Michael had his wife and daughter wait in a safe location while he returned alone to Jennifer's house. The party was still going on, and everyone was surprised by his return. "Michael, what happened? Where are Caitlin and the others?" Jennifer asked worriedly. "I need to talk to David privately," Michael said with a stern expression. David followed Michael into the house, looking confused. Once they were alone in the living room, Michael got straight to the point. "I know about what happened 10 years ago." David's face went pale. After a long silence, he said quietly, "I thought this day would come eventually." "Why did you hide it from Jennifer?" "I didn't hide anything," David answered quietly. "I told Jennifer everything. Before we got married, I told her about my past and my current situation." Michael was surprised. "Jennifer knows." "She chose to believe in me. For 10 years, I've continued participating in rehabilitation programs. I also receive counseling. I can't erase my past sins, but I'm trying to live my life over as a human being," David continued. "Regarding contact with children, I've established my own rules. I never allow myself to be alone one-on-one with them, only when Jennifer or other adults are present. I never want to repeat my past mistakes." Michael felt complex emotions about his words. "Still, I'm worried about my daughter's safety. That's natural." David showed understanding. "If I were in your position, I would think the same thing. But please don't destroy the family I've built up to this day. Jennifer and the children believe in me and support me." At that moment, Jennifer entered the living room. Her face showed determination. "Michael, may I speak too?" Jennifer sat down quietly and looked at her sister's husband. "I know about David's past. He told me everything before we got married. I was shocked at first, but seeing him trying to change, I decided to believe in him. Michael felt conflicted about his sister-in-law's words. Should he accept them as family, or should he prioritize his daughter's safety above all else? "Give me time," Michael finally said. "I need to discuss this with Caitlin, too." David nodded. "I understand. We won't run or hide. We're ready to talk whenever you are." 3 weeks later, both families gathered in the Johnson family living room. Unlike before, this time it was a serious discussion among adults only. The children were watching a movie in the next room, and their occasional laughter provided slight comfort to this heavy conversation. Caitlin had initially hesitated about holding this family meeting. Since that day's events, she had been grappling with complex emotions. She was torn between wanting to trust David as a person and her instinctive fear as a mother wanting to protect her daughter. "First, let's clarify why we're gathered here," Michael began. "This isn't to blame anyone, but to have a discussion about moving forward as a family." David sat with a tense expression. His hands trembled slightly, showing how difficult these 3 weeks had been for him. Jennifer sat beside her husband, occasionally holding his hand for support. "David, could you tell us more about the counseling you're currently receiving?" Caitlin asked quietly. David took a deep breath before answering. "Every Thursday, I meet with a specialized counselor. I also participate in group therapy 2 times a month. This isn't a legal obligation, it's something I've chosen to do." "Why do you continue?" "I don't intend to justify my past actions. What I did is unforgivable. But to ensure I never make the same mistakes again, I believe I need to continue learning how to understand and control myself." Michael leaned forward. "To continue our family relationship, I'd like to propose some conditions." David nodded seriously. "I'll accept any conditions. First, regarding contact with Emily, multiple adults must always be present. Second, you need to regularly report on your counseling records. Third, if any problems arise, you must contact us immediately." "I accept all of them," David answered without hesitation. Jennifer began speaking tearfully. "I believe in my husband, but I also understand everyone's concerns. I think what's important for families is being honest and caring for each other." Caitlin was moved by her sister's words. Indeed, no perfect families exist. Everyone carries some problems or past. What matters is how you face those problems. "We needed time," Caitlin said. "At first we were shocked and didn't know how to react. But during these 3 weeks, I've thought about many things. Perhaps family bonds mean facing difficult truths too." Tears welled up in David's eyes. "Thank you. I'm grateful for everyone's understanding." Michael suggested, "Let's rebuild our relationship gradually. We'll start with short gatherings and proceed at a pace that makes everyone comfortable." The discussion lasted nearly 2 hours. Sometimes there were silences, sometimes emotional moments, but ultimately they reached a positive conclusion. It would take time to fully restore trust, but they confirmed their commitment to supporting each other as a family. When the meeting ended, the children came running over. Emily sat on Caitlin's lap and innocently asked, "What were the grown-ups talking about?" "Family matters. Important talk about how we can all get along well together," Caitlin answered while stroking her daughter's hair. That night, Caitlin was talking with Michael in the bedroom. "Do you think we made the right decision?" "I don't know," Michael answered honestly, "but I'm certain that running away isn't the solution. Rather than surveillance, we'll have to watch over everyone together while maintaining a balance of trust and caution." Outside the window, the quiet residential neighborhood's night scene spread out. 3 weeks had passed since that shocking day, and the Johnson family was beginning to face a new reality. Realizing anew the complexity and strength of what family means, they resolved to move forward step by step. No perfect families exist, but if you have compassion for each other and the courage to face difficulties, perhaps any trial can be overcome. Believing this, Caitlin prepared to welcome a new tomorrow. As the days turned into weeks following the family meeting, Caitlin found herself reflecting deeply on the whirlwind of events that had upended their once idyllic life. Sitting alone on the porch one crisp autumn evening, with the golden leaves rustling in the breeze, she allowed the tangled emotions to surface. Fear that had gripped her like a vice during that frantic escape from the birthday party, the sharp sting of betrayal upon learning David's secret, and the lingering ache of doubt that whispered in quiet moments. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a quiet resilience bloomed within her. She marveled at the strength of her bond with Michael, whose unwavering support had been her anchor, and the pure, untainted innocence of Emily, whose laughter reminded her daily of what was truly worth protecting. Caitlin realized that true healing wasn't about erasing the shadows of the past but weaving them into the fabric of their family with threads of honesty and forgiveness. With each shared meal, each tentative gathering, she felt a profound gratitude for Jennifer's unwavering faith and David's genuine remorse, transforming her initial horror into a cautious hope. In those introspective hours, Caitlin embraced the complexity of human frailty, vowing to nurture their fragile unity, knowing that love, tempered by vigilance, could mend even the deepest fractures and guide them toward a brighter, more compassionate future.